Hi guys, my name is Jasmine and I am one of the team members who are part of Teens for Sharks. So what our organization does is educate people on sharks, and also we find ways to help sharks. So this is a part of our docu-series, and in this episode I'm going to be talking about illegal shark finning. So I'm going to break it down into different parts because there are a couple of different components that go along with illegal shark finning. So first I'm going to tell you what it is. So if you don't know what illegal shark finning is, it's the act of taking sharks' fins and throwing their bodies back into the environment. They don't use any parts except for the fins, and they leave them alive to die in the ocean. They kill over 100 million sharks a year, and tens of thousands of those are done illegally because there are some places in the world where they are allowed to kill sharks for their fins, and there are a lot of places that have bans on it. You can see that is such a high number of sharks being killed every single year that you would tell that eventually it would be ruining the shark populations. There are over 181 endangered sharks or going to be endangered soon. You can look on the International Union of Conservation of Nature on their website and you can see exactly what those types of sharks are. So you can see how inhumane this is because they are killing, like I said, hundreds of million sharks over a year. And they're doing it just for their fins. They're not using any other part of them, and they're also throwing them back in the ocean alive to die slowly. And that is such a terrible and sad thing that people are doing just for some powder or shark fin soup, and we'll get into that in a minute. In the US, there's 11 states that have bans on shark finning, but they don't really ban buying it from different places. So yes, a lot of places in the US are not shark finning, but that does not mean that we don't support places that do shark fin, like China, for example. We can import it from there. Some research that I have looked at, the best way to solve these problems, or at least lower the amount of sharks being killed, is to rely on national and international efforts to regulate fisheries and local efforts to limit consumption of shark fin and stopping the fin trade. This also includes the US importing shark fins from other places because you're supporting what they're doing. If we talk about the cost, I talked about it a little bit, but with shark fin soup, we can talk about the cost of the fins itself. The bigger the shark is, or the more rare the shark is, the more they will pay money. So say like a whale shark, those are really big sharks and they are very rare to kill because I'm pretty sure in most places it's illegal to kill them. So if you had that, they could go for thousands of dollars. So the bigger and the more rare your shark is that you kill, the more the people. I was doing some research. It mentioned that pelagic species such as oceanic white tip and silky sharks are common in the high-end trade. The blue shark is also among the most common traded, with an estimate of 20 million killed for their fins annually. For specifics about the shark fins, dried shark fin is the most expensive seafood product by weight, and it's creating a huge incentive for fishermen to hunt sharks. So solely on fishermen, they solely look for these shark fins and to dry them to make more money because it's a huge market. Usually sold upwards of $1,000 per kilogram. Dried shark fin is among the highest valued seafood by weight. So with that information, you can see that it is a huge market all over the world without bans or even with bans, that's why it's illegal, is to kill these sharks, and fishermen do it all the time because it goes for a lot of money. Now, talking about health concerns, the only thing positive that I've seen based on research is it is supposedly meant to make you live longer. That's why it's seen as such a highest thing in like China and other places that have a lot of shark fin soup. But the shark fin is mainly made of cartilage, so that is the same compound in a human, cow, and other vertebrates, and cartilage has no nutritional value that we have seen. The only really benefits that would come from shark fin soup is from the other ingredients added in it, like broth or vegetables or whatever you have in the soup. A lot of people have no idea the negative effects that shark fins can have on you because sharks have different types of metals in them, including mercury, which we all know is not good for people to have. So there are different levels in different types of sharks that have mercury in them. So if it has a high level, that's not good for you to be eating, but they don't really measure it that much inside of the food. So you could be having shark fin soup with really high levels of mercury and be hurting yourself, but it's slowly. Like, people don't notice or don't acknowledge the fact that this can hurt you. It also has horrible effects. Like, if you're pregnant and you have this and it has high levels of mercury in it, your child could come out deformed or have issues. So mercury is a toxin that can cause nerve and brain damage, but that is over a lot over time. So if you were a person who is having shark fin soup once a week and the shark that is specifically in that soup has high levels of mercury in it, which most of the time they don't really know exactly how much is in it. The levels and the way that they measure it isn't very advanced right now. The World Health Organization actually did tests to determine that some fins are so high in levels of mercury that it would exceed the recommended exposure. Because if you do some more research, there are examples of the highest amounts that a person can have in a type of food, and a lot of those percentages go over the amount that people should be eating. Think about it, they're really killing hundreds of millions sharks for no reason other than poisoning themselves and for money. So it's all really just about the system of getting money, and it's such a horrible thing because you are not only lowering the populations of these sharks that need to be high up because it's hurting the environment and the sharks, but it's also inhumane and it's also not good for you to be eating. So there really is no benefit to it other than money. I hope you guys learned something from this video. You guys can go on the websites that I mentioned before, like the World Health Organization as well as the International Union for Conservation of Nature, to find out more information. If you guys want more information, keep watching our docuseries. We'll be doing different topics on what sharks are used for, negative things that are happening, and also just facts about sharks.
So much to the poltergeist, hold on to love, but it's frost and nice time. Much but a light from a falling sky, apply to the forces above us like